What is up? Quick little video to show you how to use the massing calorie calculator. So let me share my screen here with you. There we go. Hopefully you can see what we have right in front of us. It's a very straightforward thing to use, but you also have to be aware of a couple of different, I suppose, tidbits in here. Now, while you're using this, I make the assumption that you have looked at all the other content in the group. You have a basic understanding of, BMR and energy expenditure. So let me walk you through all of this. So you put in your name, you put in your age, don't put 28 and a half. If you're 28 years and 6 months, you put 28 in there, cool. Of course, you choose whether you are male or female. Primarily, this is going to be suitable for most males. You put in your height in centimeters. If you are 1.9 meters, you don't put 1.9, you put 190. That is because the equation running in the background here is running off centimeters and not meters. And you have to put in your weight in kilograms. So if you have your weight in pounds, you divide that by 2.2. What that will do is that it will calculate your BMR for you. Do not change this number. Then you choose an activity level. This activity level is based off this table here, okay? So here, currently, you will see that the activity level is set as 4, which means that this person is very active. You don't have to worry about this number. You just have to understand that this person is very active, which could be that they are going to the gym 5 to 6 days a week and they are going for walks every day, not sitting on their ass every day. So let's say that for the sake of this, Tom only goes to the gym twice a week. I would then put the number 2 in there. And if you just paid attention, you would have seen that when I put 2 in here, this number here went down. So if I put 4 in here, you'll see that this number here goes up. We'll leave it as 2 for now. What that means is that when you are active, you need more calories, which is this number here. And we have some really good data to suggest that we have some standard kind of energy expenditures based on different kinds of activities, such as, let's say, walking or cycling or just general metabolism. So with any calculator, of course, it's giving you a starting point, not necessarily the magic pill. Then in this box here, you choose the percentage body weight that you want to mass with every single week, okay? So here, for someone who doesn't take any drugs, I would highly recommend going with 0.25. If you are not afraid of getting a bit of fluff on your body, you would choose 0.5. The other thing you have to do here is that you have to choose your target weight. So let's say that Tom is 190 centimeters, but he only weighs 65 kilos. He's real scrawny and he wants to put on some solid mass. So his goal, first and foremost, is to get to 75 kilo. I need to make sure to put that goal weight in there as well. And then he chose that he needs to mass with 0.5% of body weight per week, which means that he needs to now eat a minimum of 2,700 calories every single day in order to get to that point. The next thing Tom needs to do now is to look at the choosing my macros here, okay? So what that means is that he can now choose the percentage protein, fats, and carbs. What I would highly recommend for the majority of people using this is that you leave your protein between 20 to 30%. And then you will probably have somewhere in the vicinity of 30 to 40% of either fats and carbs. If you really do love your carbs more than fats, then you choose more carbs and vice versa. Now, what you do have to consider is that the majority of people are probably over consuming carbohydrates already of the processed kind. So it wouldn't hurt, not necessarily having, slightly lower carbs compared to fats. So if I now choose 40% of carbs, you'll see that the total is more than 100%. So this number here goes in red. So I need to make sure that that equals 100 when I choose my distribution. Once I've done that, it will automatically show you the total amount of protein, carbs, and fats you need to eat every day in grams. So this is 170 grams of protein. That's not 170 grams of steak. Remember that. You need to look up how many grams of protein is in the food that you want to eat. And then, we want to distribute this quite evenly across the day. That's the easiest thing to do. Just have 4 meals a day. And then you'll need about 30 to 35 grams of protein per meal. You will need approximately 45 to 50 grams of carbs, and then approximately 20 to 25 grams of fat per meal to make sure that this happens quite easily. So once you've got all these numbers here, then this table here will show you a couple of different things. The first table here will show you that you need to gain 10 kilo of mass, and you need to gain approximately 0.325 to 0.5 kilo per week. So remember, 0.5% of 65 is 0.325 kilo. And it'll take you approximately 30 weeks to gain those 10 kilo if you eat these calories. Now, what you will find here is what I've called realistic results. This is, FFM is fat-free mass, and FM is fat mass. So fat-free mass is muscle, primarily. And then, of course, you got FM, which is fat mass. And there is a relative distribution here. You're not going to be able to gain 100% muscle. That's not the case, and that's wishful thinking at best. So we've looked through the data, we made some basic recommendations. So these are just, I suppose, basics, and they're not 100% accurate. But what you have to realize here is that if you gain 10 kilo and you're a beginner, so I've chosen the number 1 here, it's very likely that if you do things well and you eat enough protein and you lift weights, that you can gain over those 10 weeks approximately 5 or 6 kilo of muscle. Sorry, over 30 weeks. And the rest of that will be, things like body fat, a bit of water, carbs, and so on and so forth. And what you'll see here is that if you classify yourself as an intermediate person, which means that you're probably trained for 3 to 4 years quite consistently, maybe even 2 years with good training technique, you'll see that you'll be able to put on less and less muscle over time. And then if you go to being advanced, and you're not on drugs, of course, this is natural people, then the ratio changes ever so slightly. And guys, that's it. It's super simple. You just plug in the numbers, play with it, and then you start tracking your food from there. And then, of course, you want to track your progress. So this is where you put in, let's say, Tom was 65 kilo on day 1. He was 65.3. He was 66. Then down to 65. Then 65.7, 66. And then he had a cracker of a day of 66.3. That week, he actually gained 600 grams compared to his starting point. And then he would do the same again. Here as an example, 66, 65, 65.7, 66.3, 66.3, 65, and then maybe here he had 66 again. Boom, all of a sudden, he's gained another 100 grams. So if he's eating the foods that the calories that we calculated here, but is only gaining 100 grams, you actually need to increase the food intake even more with approximately 150 calories, and then every day. And then you'll see that the weight will start climbing up again. So you need to match the progress here against the numbers here. Because remember, this is a starting point. So you might see an initial jump in weight, but then you'll see that, hang on, this is actually not enough food to start putting on mass at the rate that I want to. Now, if he was massing at 0.25, you'll see that this would actually be perfect, which is gained about 150 grams. So you got to mix, you sort of got to mix and match almost. You got to look at this, you got to change your percentage, everything like that, and then track it against these numbers here as well. That's it, guys. Super simple. You know where to send the questions if you have them. Enjoy the massing, enjoy the food, and enjoy the bulking, looking suave and swole.